For the last 4 years, things have been becoming more and more expensive. Groceries are up 20%, rent is up over 30%. More and more Americans are going into deeper credit card debt. And on top of that, interest rates have been going up higher and higher. The truth is that the economy is not as stable as it seems. A lot of Americans are struggling to keep up with the cost of food, with the cost of housing, and with the cost of transportation. There is an economic storm on the way, and a lot of people are pretending that there's not. I'm Alex Otto. I help people make money in the car rental industry. Today, we're going to talk about the economic state of the world. A lot of people don't realize that the economy is getting weaker and weaker by the day and by the month. There is a calmness right now, right? But like every storm, there's a calm before the storm. What people need to understand is that being reliant on the financial system is a very dangerous game to play. This means that you have no control when things get tough. This means you have no control when companies start laying off employees. And this means that you have no control of your financial independence and your financial situation. It is important to understand that without your own physical control, you cannot do anything when the world turns, when things get more expensive, when you can afford to pay your rent, and when you can afford to buy groceries. As we've seen, companies like Klarna and pay after, right, buy now, pay later platforms have announced and confirmed that more and more people are financing groceries. This is a very scary state of the world. What people don't understand is that the Federal Reserve and the government are in bed together to continue to inflate the currency. The more they inflate the currency, the harder it is for people to gain financial independence. The reason why they don't want you gaining financial independence is because this will make it very, very difficult for you to be controlled, and this will make it very difficult for you to be contained. And the less the population is controlled, the more chaos it is for the government, and the harder it is for them to push their agenda and their narrative. Inflation is a silent killer, and inflation is used by politicians who own assets and businesses to increase the value of their assets while screwing the general population and keeping them reliant on the system. As an entrepreneur and as an individual, you need to understand this, right, and set yourself up for success. Because relying on hope and praying that a politician will save you is not a plan. This will lead to disaster, right, and this will lead to financial scarcity. You need to escape the trap of comfort. A lot of people are comfortable as long as they can afford food to eat and as long as they can pay for their housing, they're okay with a dire financial situation. But because inflation happens year after year, things can change very quickly. And as we're seeing in the economy, right, Americans are $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. Things are starting to change, right? The default rate on auto loans are at the highest in US history. Things are starting to change. More and more people are doing buy now, pay later for essentials like groceries, rent, food, and transportation. Things are starting to change. You need to start preparing like how the wealthy prepare. Instead of relying on your job, instead of relying on your 9 to 5, you need to start understanding how to leverage your assets, how to leverage your credit score so that you can start using money from the banks to build a consistent and stable income for yourself. Without a consistent and stable income, you will be relying on the system, okay? You need to get to a place where you have financial independence. Financial independence is one of the best and strongest ways to escape the economic storm, because no matter what happens in the economy, you earn your own money. No matter how many people companies lay off, you aren't relying on the 9 to 5 system, so you can continue to make money regardless of what happens in the economy. In the car rental industry, we're in an industry that is high demand. We're in the industry that is recession proof. So unlike most industries that is heavily reliant on the economy, regardless of what happens in the economy, the car rental industry will continue to boom. And I'll give you an example. During 2020, when the world went into lockdown, people were still allowed to drive for platforms like Uber, like Lyft, like DoorDash, Amazon Flex, right, and deliver packages, food, and people to the places that they needed to be. Why is that? This is because the transportation industry and the gig economy industry is an essential industry. So regardless of what happens in the economy, even when the world shut down, these platforms were still allowed to operate. This tells us that in the case of a worst case scenario, our industry will still continue to operate and we will still continue to make money. So this is the type of industry that you want to invest in and be a part of. This is a $168 billion industry, and it's continuing to grow year after year, right? The car rental industry is projected to hit 300 billion within the next 10 years. So you need to be a part of that. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. If you want to learn and are serious about starting and scaling your car rental industry, use the link in the description to join the Facebook community. I'm Alex Otto. I help people make money in the car rental industry, and I'll see you there.